America. Marc Short, former chief of staff to Vice President Mike Pence. You know, Mark, when this happens, there is a degree of freak out that happens in the media. Same over the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And then what we learn is that Trump has somehow changed the conversation. Everybody freaks out about something that effectively doesn't matter, and then we all move on with life. Any reason this will be different?
Well, Leland, look, I think he's very gifted at being able to change the narrative, as you say, and get people to focus on something else. But I do think that his tariff agenda is kind of ingrained in him, and he is committed to it. And I think it's really detrimental right now to a lot of Republicans. I think there's a lot the president, was elected to do, was to secure the border and to fix affordability in the economy. And the border is significantly better. The deportation's unpopular, but what's happened at the border is strikingly different than under Biden administration. The tax relief has been a huge achievement for the Trump administration. But he's not talking about those things. Instead, he's talking about a trade agenda that is wildly unpopular. And his support on the economy is significantly underwater. And so why he wants to continue to focus on a trade war in Canada doesn't make sense. And in a lot of this conversation, I think we forget, Leland, that actually we would have had a conservative succeed Justin Trudeau, except that Donald Trump engaged in this rhetoric in ways that rallied Canadians behind the Liberal Party. And so we actually may have had a different trading partner right now if it had actually been behaved differently. And so this gets a lot of clicks. Well, it can be entertaining, but politically it's not really helpful.
Well, unless he gets something, and he will always spin it that he gets something. Tony Katz always says Trump always wins out of this, or he'll just move on. Trump post on Canada ripping off the United States. Canada has been ripping off the USA for decades. They've been charging our farmers 400% tariffs and more. They've driven many wonderful U.S. companies out of business. I deal with many countries, and Canada is easily the most difficult and unreasonable. At some point for his supporters, is it not better for him to be seen as taking on those countries that are making life difficult, especially in the Midwest right now where you got high diesel prices?
Leland, I think that probably that Americans will rally around the president when he focuses on China. But what we've seen is in the second Trump administration is concession one after another on China while focusing instead the harshest rhetoric on Canada. So, yeah, I think there is a reality they could rally around if he's focused on somebody that's actually a nemesis and a real adversary to the United States. But I'm not sure a lot of Americans really view Canada in that same way. I mean, you spent a lot of time in Michigan, and maybe there's a lot more irritation about the Canadian fires this summer. But I think by and large, I don't think that that's really it's going to animate voters to say, hell yeah, we're fighting Canada.
Well, to be fair, I'm in Michigan right now, and there's a lot of anger in Michigan because there's so many fewer Canadian tourists who bring a lot of money to Michigan and to the rest of a number of states in America that really rely on that. The last point I would make, Mark, is for all of the predictions that have been made about the tariffs, the stock market closed after Liberation Day. So this is after all of the tariffs were announced. We'll just take the S&P 500, closed down 4.8% at 53.96. Everyone predicted our 401ks were gone, done, and spoken for. Today, the S&P 500 closed at 76.77. I am not that good at math, but that's like that's almost like a 40% increase. And I'm being told we have to go. I'll give you the last 15 seconds. Is the hair on fire about Trump's tariff wars? At some point, it has to come true, and it hasn't.
Oh, I'm not sure it hasn't. I think you're going to see it in November, Leland. I think that there's a lot of success with, again, the tax relief that has continued to push incomes up, has continued to drive the markets. I think there's a lot of easy monetary policy and huge deficit spending that the markets actually like, but I'm not sure that the average American is doing better on affordability.
Well, the Americans will tell us at the ballot box. Marc Short, thank you very much. Speaking of something that irritates Americans, states giving billionaire tech pros billions in tax breaks to build data centers in people's backyards. Billions to men who are already worth billions. Maybe that's why Americans have had enough.